exactly why every stay-at-home mom, homeschool mom, work-at-home mom, and really every mom in general needs to learn how to leverage social media to create a personal brand. I'm about to introduce you to one of my clients who started with under 1,000 followers on Instagram and grew a personal brand to over 60,000 followers, exploded her email list without spending a single dollar in ad revenue, literally making money in her sleep via digital products. So excited to introduce you to Shay.
Hey there, I'm Shay, and I want to share with you about my experience with working with Colleen. So just to give you a little bit of a background, I have been in direct sales for the last 9 or 10 years. I have been with a couple different direct sales, and when I say direct sales companies, I mean like a company that has a product that I signed up because I loved it and I shared it. A couple different ones. I would say my success with those were sporadic. Some of them, I had a couple months that things were really great, but nothing was ever consistent. Within those direct sales companies, they offer certain trainings, but I was always looking to find something else to help enhance that. I was a teacher at our local elementary for 12 years. We have 4 boys. And about 3 years ago, my husband and I felt like the Lord was calling us to homeschool. And so I was really needing to make sure that I had some financial help each month to help my husband with his income, if that's what we were going to do. And we decided to do it. So I had always been looking for some outside help and coaching, but really about 3 years ago, I was taking it, felt in my mind, I felt like I wanted to take it to the next level. I really needed something. I have probably over the last 10 years invested thousands, probably close to $10,000 in different trainings, downloads, workbooks, coaching, seminars, you name it, and I've invested that much in it. And all of them pretty much said the same thing. A lot of what they offered was this ideal success in the online world, but there wasn't a whole lot of specific detail in what I needed. So about 6, 7, 8 months ago, last summer, I was really looking for something. I was kind of at this point where I was going to have to, if I couldn't make this online space work to help us financially, then I was going to have to go work outside the home, which I didn't want to do. We love being able to homeschool our boys. And so I had stumbled across Colleen's Instagram. And so I had followed her like 4 or 5 years ago for her curly girl method. And I just had never unfollowed her. I honestly had even deleted my Instagram app. I hadn't used it for a while, but I had got back on. I was trying to like dabble in it. I had done training on Instagram. And so I was like trying to figure out what that looked like. Her page popped up again, and I had followed her for probably 3 or 4 weeks where I was just watching because I was like, oh, this is a little bit different. And I saw one of her reels, and she was offering a free call for a free 1-hour call and access to like her training. And I was like, okay, it's free. It's free. I can do that. And so I commented, we reached out, she reached out to me, and we jumped on our call. And one of the first things that I really noticed that was different was she was like a real person, and that sounds demeaning, but she was very relatable. She was easy to talk to. And another thing that was also a breath of fresh air for me was that she was asking me, like, what do you want? What is your idea for income? What are you passionate about? How much time do you have per week? Let's nail all this down. What is your experience with all of these different social media platforms? And so it was very encouraging to me because everything previously that I had invested in, even in one-on-one coaching that I had spent money on previously, they had all these ideas that they just showed me what to do, but it didn't necessarily align with what my personal goals were or what my desires were. And that was something different with Colleen that I immediately was like, oh, I like this. And so I honestly when I signed up for her free call, I had just invested almost $3,000 in a separate training, and so I was like, I can't invest any more money. And after my call, she was like, hey, if you are interested, we can go further. Everything about her there was no pressure. I never felt pressured or like she was trying to push me in a corner. She was like, we don't have to, but like, I have it here if you want to look at it. And I was like, sure, whatever. And from her layout of what she showed me, I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And she was like, really? And I said, yeah, I knew what she offered, the one-on-one coaching, her specific honing in on what I wanted was what I needed. And so I signed up with her for the first part of her training, for her one-on-one coaching, for the first part of her one-on-one coaching. And so at the time, I had a little over 400 followers on Instagram. So like the account that I had, I'd dabbled in it a little bit, but I didn't really know how to use Instagram. Even though I had these trainings on it, nothing had really stuck. So the first thing that Colleen did with me in our coaching journey was she really honed in on what I was passionate about, what I wanted to do with my online marketing. Another thing that I appreciate about Colleen is she was the first person to shed some realistic light on the direct sales world. Direct sales, you can make an income through that, but you're better off creating your own digital products before just diving into direct sales and using your direct sales as like an add-on to what your product is. And I'll be honest, when she first said that, it kind of took me aback a little bit. I was kind of offended because I was thinking, this is not what everyone is telling me. But I was like, okay, I'll go along with this. And so we found something I was incredibly passionate about that I never dreamed I would be able to actually create my own products and resources for, much less make money. Like I remember telling my husband, like, I mean, this sounds good, but like, I don't know. I mean, they say it works, but I don't know. So anyway, with all of that being said, the first couple of weeks we spent on really honing down on what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to create. It was very tedious, but looking back, that has been the game changer in my business. Even now that I can see how other people are doing things, you hear people talking about your niche or your avatar or who you want to talk to. And Colleen didn't just take this idea that you have, she put numbers and actual analytics to it. So we spent a lot of time looking at keyword research. What are people searching for? So through her content strategy, we created a content vortex where we broke down like a big overall, this is what you want to talk about. This is how you can create content that falls underneath this funnel. And so I remember at the time being like, oh my, wow, this has been the missing piece, because this actually isn't just sharing what you love. It is that, but there's strategy to it. And so we spent the first 2 or 3 weeks doing that. But while I was doing the keyword research and investigating and doing the things myself, she was also helping me form my Instagram platform. And one of the first things that we did after doing our keyword research is she was like, you have to have an email list. You have to have a freebie to offer to get people to opt in. That's the game changer. I had no email. I had no email platform. I had no email list. I was like, it seemed very daunting at the beginning, but she was like, she walked me through every step of the way. I created my freebie. I got an email platform, all of the hard work behind the scenes that nobody really wants to talk about. But I was doing that behind the scenes while I was continuing to work on Instagram and show up consistently, be consistent every day, making sure I'm posting, doing all of these things that they tell you to do. And I had my first reel go viral, and it blew me away. And what was like so wonderful about it was I had my opt-in created, because that's what Colleen was telling me to do. You need to have a freebie to opt in. My very first reel that went viral, it's over a million. It's over 1 million views right now. And I've had, I don't know, several that have gone, that are over 1 million views, but they're all tied to my freebie. So in the last, let's see, at the time I'm recording this, when I first set up my email, got my freebie going, and was posting consistently on Instagram, it's been about 6 months. I have over 10,000 on my email list. They have opted into my freebie. I have over 65,000 followers on Instagram. So in 6 or 7 months, I started at a little over 400 and I'm now at over 65,000. And all of that is from being consistent and just implementing what Colleen was telling me to do. While I was creating my freebie, while I was continuing to show up on Instagram, I was also working on my first digital product launch, which, like I said earlier, I was cautiously hopeful. Like, I thought, okay, this sounds good, but I don't know if this will actually work. My first launch for my first digital product, which Colleen has all of the training for, all of the videos, everything that you need to know about it. And I followed them to a T. So like I actually did what she said, what she taught me to do. And if I had questions, she was good to answer them. But within my first product launch, I was able to pay off my investment with my first investment with Colleen. In that first week, it paid off my first investment with her. After that, I was like, okay, there is something to this. This is crazy. It was all automated, by the way, because she shows you how to set up your automation. They come in through your email list, you set up a sales page, you have a tripwire, all these fancy words that if you're like, that sounds intimidating, it is at first, but it works, and it's totally, you're able to learn it. It's not something that's too hard. Even if you're like, I had no idea about the technology side of all of that, and I learned it all. I'm in my late 30s and I learned all of that. So you can totally do that. So after that, I was like, okay, there's something to this. Colleen offered her 90-day program for me to work with her. And I was like, yes, like I didn't even think about it. I saw the results from my first investment with her, and I was like, oh, I've got to do it. So throughout the 90-day coaching program with Colleen, I'm continuing to build on Instagram. So all of these things that Colleen teaches you, it's not something you do once and then you're done. Like, you're continually implementing what she's learning, and it builds the momentum for your business, and that's how your business grows. A lot of the things, though, are set up, like my email system is set up on autopilot. So just to give you an example, with my 90-day program of working with Colleen, I figured out Instagram. I created my own website. She showed me how to set up my own website and blog. I am now on Pinterest and actively working my business from Pinterest, which I didn't even realize was a thing. And I have a YouTube channel that I am in the process of getting built up. All of that within Colleen's 90-day coaching package. And that's what I've done in the last 90 days. Through that, I have been able to automate most everything that I have. So what has worked for me, which Colleen teaches, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, they say it will work, but will it actually work? It works. I promoted my paid resources on Instagram a little bit, but then what I started to do is I was like, you know what? I have created more than one freebie, which wasn't hard. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy to do. And I am able to just give value and promote my free stuff. And since I have it set up to automate with an email system, with a tripwire, a sales page, once they get my freebie and they give me their email, I have stuff set up in automation to send them to my paid products. And so I have not promoted a paid product on my Instagram since, well, it's been about 4 months. And in the last 4 months, just by promoting my freebie, by continuing to work and continuing to do the things, I have completely made back my investment with Colleen, with my 90-day coaching with her. And so after we had our final call and we were looking at the numbers, she offered one-on-one coaching, just one call a month, just to help me kind of keep my bearings and make sure I'm continuing to learn and just have her as a resource if I have questions. So I signed up to do her once a month coaching now that I'm done with all of that. And so we meet once a month on Zoom for an hour. I have all of my questions listed. She comes prepared with things to help me with, and I'm able to just hash out all of those questions or concerns, and even looking forward to launch a physical product, which is what I'm getting ready to do. So if I could go back, just to wrap this up, if I could go back to my former self and I would have found Colleen earlier, I would definitely 100%. I wish I would have found her earlier. It would have saved me a lot of money. I would say 80% of the money I invested with other coaching, I'm not even able to use anymore. It was not relevant. But everything, 100% of everything Colleen has shown me and taught me, I think I could turn around right now and go show someone else how to do it, because of the effort and the time she puts in, of her detail, of me learning it and just going through it on my own. I can 100% say I could do this again. So my only regret is I didn't find her earlier, but that's okay. I have now, over the last 6 or 7 months, I have completely made back all of my investment with Colleen plus some. I've made my money back. Like, I've paid her off and I've made more money on top of that. So if you're questioning this, if you're wondering if the investment is worth it, it really is. And I'm not just saying that. I actually mean it. And I'm saying it from someone who's had experience with other coaching and all of these promises. Yeah, if you have the chance, I would absolutely do it again.